Although we left our floor material looking reasonably decent at the end of the last exercise, one of the things that we highlighted was the complexity of the material tree that we, or the Substance to Max plugin, had created, which, whilst not a problem in a scene as simple and with as few materials as this one, could become a problem on a large-scale visualization where there may be dozens, possibly even hundreds of materials like this in the scene. A good habit to get into then is to keep our materials as simple as possible whilst preserving the quality of the renders that we are producing. To that end then, let's take a look at the material tree that we would get using Max's physical material for the wood floor instead of the V-Ray material. With the material editor and floor tabs open then, let's hold down the Shift key whilst we left click and drag on our Substance node in order to create a copy of it. And then, with it still selected, come to the Substance menu, and this time choose the Substance to Physical Material option, which, as you can instantly see, produces a much simpler material tree than was the case with our V-Ray material. We will of course have to once again swap out the normal bump map for a V-Ray normal map, after which we will want to test out the usefulness of this approach by saving the render of the scene that I have already taken to the history list, and then selecting the floor geometry, applying the physical material to it, and then of course taking a render of the floor in order to see just what we are getting now. Well, as we make the comparison, we can see that the overall look of the material in terms of colour and reflectivity is pretty much unchanged, with the only big concern coming in the form of the relief channel. Although, as we look at the material, we can see that only the bump map is actually being used here, and so let's connect the height output on our Substance node to the displacement input of the material, and then after double clicking on the material to load up its parameters, jump into the Special Maps rollout and set the displacement intensity to 0.008, after which we can render again. What we get now as we compare to the V-Ray material version is something very similar in terms of the look, but with the advantage of having a much simpler material tree, which, as we say, could become a significant factor at some later point in the production process. Which approach we choose to use, of course, is entirely up to us as the production artist. With 2 of our 3 substance-based materials in place then, let's take a look in our next exercise at a couple of very quick tweaks that we could make to our scene at this point in order to improve the quality of what we're getting out of V-Ray.